18th.
Yeah. No, I want you to do something that's not on electronic day.
Chris, you're not.
Chris, you're live.
I'm sorry.
That was a highlighted evening, Chris. Anyway, declaration of a quorum. David, if you'll take the roll, please.
Joe Plankis,
Here.
John Dart,
Here.
Brian Michael,
Here.
Larry Kemper,
Here.
Steve Latour,
Here.
Carrie Larison.
We have a quorum. Thank you, David. Next step is the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Okay, thank you, everyone. Janelle, do we have any changes to agenda? I don't know of any.
I don't believe so.
Okay, we will move on then for the minutes for June 16th, 2025. Are there any questions or changes to those minutes? Hearing none, I'm open for a motion for approval.
Motion to approve the minutes from June 16th?
Okay, John Dart, motion for approval, second.
Second.
Brian Michael, thank you. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. David?
Joe Plankis,
Aye.
John Dart,
Aye.
Brian Michael,
Aye.
Larry Kemper,
Aye.
Steve Latour,
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 5-0. Thank you very much. Any comments or questions on the minutes from July 28th, 2025 meeting? Okay, hearing none, do I have a motion for approval?
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Okay, Steve Latour,
I'll second.
John Dart, there's a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. David?
Joe Plankis,
Aye.
John Dart,
Aye.
Brian Michael,
Aye.
Larry Kemper,
Aye.
Steve Latour.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 5-0, and I have to apologize for not introducing Steve Latour as our new member of the commission. So Steve, welcome aboard. Appreciate you stepping up and serving the community as you're so good at doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Appreciate your efforts, Steve. Thank you. Okay, next item is a document from the executive session memorandum from June 16th. Any comments or changes? If not, I'm open for motion for approval.
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, Brian Michael, motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second? Is that John?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, John. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. David?
Joe Plankis,
Aye.
John Dart,
Aye.
Brian Michael,
Aye.
Larry Kemper,
Aye.
Steve Latour.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions on the information that was provided by the clerk treasurer for the treasurer's reports? Pretty self-explanatory. I didn't see any hiccups in there, so we can move on to the next item on the agenda. Next item is approval of claims. Does anyone have any questions or comments on claims? Seeing none, I'm open for a motion for approval.
Motion to approve claims for August 18th?
Okay, thank you, John Dart. Second.
I'll second.
Brian Michael. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. David?
Joe Plankis,
Aye.
John Dart,
Aye.
Brian Michael,
Aye.
Larry Kemper,
Aye.
Steve Latour.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 5-0. Thank you very much. We have the executive director report. Janelle, all yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. All right, I gotta figure out how to get back to my, there we go. Back to the beginning of my presentation here. All right, because we have a number of action items here today, I thought I'd keep today's executive director's report fairly short. I second your appreciation for Steve Latour joining our commission this month. I should have and meant to include a photo of his swearing-in ceremony, which I believe may be the first that was done at Colts Camp, with Blue in attendance. So just some fun.
But done by the mayor.
It was done by the
Official.
mayor, and there is photo proof. I just didn't happen to provide any in my report here. So a couple of construction updates. This is a recent August 7th photo looking at Sun King Construction. You can see they've got their logo there over their entry, and we've got Union Square open in the background behind. The apartments there at Union Square opened in June. I know that they've been working on lease up of the apartments, and they've also been closing a bunch of leases in that area. Just recently, we've had ribbon cuttings for Pure Bar, fitness facility, the Spark Coffee, and tomorrow will be Everbowl. I know Lake City Bank has also announced that they're going to be located there, as well as a couple other tenants new to the area. The garage will officially open in mid-September. It is currently operating for the residents that are living there. We're working on the final details of a parking ordinance so that we can have everything set up for the Old Town and City management companies to manage the operations and maintenance of the garage. Sun King should be opening in spring of 2026. I don't have an opening date confirmed, but I'm hoping that they'll have a really great ribbon cutting, and I expect that we're really going to see a lot of activity here in the Grand Junction area once that's open next spring. We also have a ribbon cutting or groundbreaking scheduled this week for the Ambrose project. If you remember earlier, we had approval of the developer-backed bond for this project. This is an estimated investment of $26 million into our downtown at East Street and State Road 32. Currently, the assessed value of that group of parcels is just under $1 million at about $236,000 per acre. And the future assessed value of that area is about $13 million, coming out to about $3.2 million an acre. So this is really a great first step at that anchor corner to create some activity, some more density in our living opportunities to help really keep our businesses, restaurants active in our downtown. Another special item of note on this particular project, the developer Ambrose has agreed in the future, if the city needs to build a parking garage in this area, that the land that their parking lot is being built on would be granted to the city for the development of a parking garage that would be owned by the city. We would just have to make sure that they still have access to the same number of parking spaces that they have under their original development. So this is a really great future-proofing opportunity for the city to make sure that we have some flexibility in our downtown developments. A couple new things coming up. I'm going to come back to that one here in my presentation about the bot for the ice hockey facility. The Park and Poplar we'll be talking about a little bit later in the meeting. We have the final process in the EDA creation for Park and Poplar. This is a development at Park Street and Westfield Boulevard, also known as Poplar. And this is being developed by Old Town, estimated investment of about $123 million. The current assessed value, completely tongue-tied tonight, about the same as Ambrose at just under $1 million an acre. And we're looking at, $1 million total at $91,000 an acre. Future assessed value coming in at almost $60 million and $5.5 million an acre. So again, just a really great opportunity to bring some density and investment into the downtown. This will bring in an annual school referendum amount of almost $140,000 per year. The other project that we'll be talking about today with confirmatory resolution for the economic development area is Jersey Street. This is Jersey 32. This is an estimated investment of $105 million. This is right at the corner of Poplar and State Road 32, about 2 blocks north of the Park and Poplar project. This will be a really nice gateway project for the city. Be very viewable as people are driving in from the exit at US 31 and State Road 32. And there's a really great opportunity here. You can see this is the roundabout just as you're entering into our downtown, and there's an art plaza located here just off of that roundabout. And we're working with a local arts curating company called Gang Gang, and they are helping us with an RFQ process to bring some public art to this area, which would be honoring the Underground Railroad and Quaker roots of Westfield. This project, similarly, with its investment of about 100 million, 105 million here, the base assessed value is about $525,000 at about $200,000 per acre, and the estimated future assessed value at $47.8 million comes out to about $18.4 million per acre. Now, part of the reason that this is so much more dense in its estimated future assessed value per acre is that it is completely surrounding the parking garage. There is really, really efficient use of land here, which creates these really nice little plaza areas in between the retail spaces. And because we don't have much floodplain or surface parking on this project, it just really creates, again, great land usage. And the third project we'll be talking about today is the Woodwind East project, which you've seen before. This is a development at the Woodwind project and includes the building of 3 new holes for the Woodwind Golf Course. So you can see them built throughout the project here. And then phase 2 of this project is contemplated within the limits of the current Woodwind Golf Course and would include 3 reconstructed holes and a grant back to the developer Old Town for development of some additional residential land on the west side of the West Woodwind South project. Average home sale, this is a residential property, so a lot different than the commercial properties we just talked about. 184 lots with an average sales price of about $1 million. So this is overall looking to be about a $130 million investment. Base assessed value at about $2,000 per acre would increase to about $3.2 million per acre on individual parcels. So we're looking about an annual tax increment for this residential area of $830,000 per year. I do want to mention that for Woodwind, that the increment will be passed through to the schools. So we'll be using just the remaining increment to help provide improvements at Woodwind. And I'm going to pause there, and we'll come back to the ice facility in just a moment. Have any questions on any of the items I've presented on today?
Okay, do you want to cover the ice facility then next before we
As
go?
first new business item.
Okay.
Okay.
All yours.
Okay. We don't have any old business.
No,
Okay.
that's correct, I'm sorry.
That's fine. All right, and jump back here. Ice facility. So, sorry. There we go. So as you all know, we have a master plan here of the southern portion of the Grand Park District. And in that master plan, we had contemplated an ice hockey facility located here at the very south end of the development. This is 186th Street, Grand Park Boulevard, large ice facility parcel, which we had a test fit done by Perkins and Will, who is part of our master planning team. And in May, we took this project, which is contemplated to be a 3 to 4 sheet ice facility, out to the public for a build, operate, transfer request for qualifications and proposals. The first round of that was a request for qualifications. We received 8 responses, and we went through a really great evaluation process, reviewing their proposals, of course, but then also interviewing a handful of the offers for the project. And it was really interesting hearing all of their different perspectives on how a facility like this could be best operated, from how many sheets would be viable to the size and orientation, a lot of discussion about studio sheets of ice, what type of signature teams we might attract to the area, whether they be junior leagues or colleges, how we would operate tournaments. Really, really great conversation that has helped influence our proposal stage. So we had 5 people on our evaluation committee. Among the group, 4 were selected, 4 offers were selected to move forward. And Hunden Partners, who helped us through the RFQ and RFP process, will be notifying the 4 offerers that have been selected to move forward, as well as the 4 that we have decided not to continue with. And the 4 that we've selected are Cardin Associates, located here locally in Hamilton County, Garmong, which would be, well, let me talk about their full teams. Card is partnered with KRM Architecture, CSO Architecture, Meyer Najum, and IMEG Engineering. Garmong was partnered with F.A. Wilhelm, Sports Facilities Companies, Structure Point, Ratio, and IMEG. And Loth was partnered with Edge Sports Global, JLG, and IMEG. And Nicholas and Company out of the Chicago area owns every business that they partner with. It was really quite amazing. I mean, everything from the contractor down to the people that make the bakery items in their cafe. It is definitely a turnkey opportunity with Nicholas. So, they do have IMEG, so they do have the same engineers. Every group that brought an engineer brought IMEG, so we did not even speak with them because we didn't want to provide any advantage to the groups that we were speaking to later by having IMEG in each one of the interviews. But they came with a very extensive list of qualifications, and we will definitely be including them in interviews as we move forward in the proposal stage. So really excited to be moving this forward. We'll be issuing an RFP with the help of Hunden later this week, aiming for Wednesday or Thursday. And then we should be back here at the RDC in November for a final selection and recommendation of an offerer team to move forward with an ICE facility. I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have. I'm sure that there are plenty. This is a really major undertaking for the city, and I'm happy to talk about the process. I also have Adam Collins from Wallach, Summers and Haas here to answer questions about the bot process if you're interested.
Okay, thank you, Janelle. Any questions for Janelle from commission members?
Is the selection team the same as the RFQ team for the RFPs? Or will there
Yes.
be modification for that?
Yeah, the selection group will be the same.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions for Janelle? Okay, we're going to have
I
a,
have one real quick.
Okay,
I may have missed it. Is this the site where it's for sure going to go? Because I know at one time there's a few other parcels being considered.
Yeah, so as we move through, well, the qualification stage, we did not ask them to present a site. A couple of the teams did present some concept level plans. Interestingly, some knew exactly that it was going to go here, and they proposed that it would go here. We did include some preliminary plans in the RFQ phase, so they knew what we were envisioning. We also had some proposals that included some rough plans that you could tell were on an agnostic site. So it's really just a concept level that shows what their programming would be like, which I would expect to be that's really normal at this stage. As we move into the proposal stage, we'll be telling them that we would like to be located here. If any of them do have an alternate site, we would be interested in hearing what that cash flow analysis is about going to another location. But we really feel that having the ICE facility here as part of the master plan helps drive traffic, walking traffic, travelers, local. I mean, it's going to be your youth hockey. It's going to be the people who are figure skating. It's going to be your public skate. And we want those people to be here active in the district.
Thank you.
okay, good question, Brian, thank you. Any other questions for Janelle?
But this is the property owned by who? Who owns this piece of property here?
Yeah, so this property currently is owned by D&W Farms.
Okay.
And later in the agenda today, we'll be introducing the first step in securing financing so that the city can purchase, well, the downtown Westfield CDC would purchase this land from D&W Farms as part of the Grand Park development area, so that the Grand Park South portion of the master plan could be developed. So it would be under city control.
Cardin Associates, what's Cardin Associates agreement on the south side?
We are working through a development agreement with Cardin Associates. It hasn't been executed. We talked about it briefly in the RDA meeting, and we'll certainly be talking about that more when we're talking about the ban itself. If you can hold your questions for just a few minutes. I'll have Oscar Gutierrez come up here and talk about the ban process, and I think that will probably answer some of the questions as well.
Okay, thank you. Next step is a public hearing, but Janelle, would you like to make some comments first, please, on the East Side EDA and the Park and Poplar allocation area?
Sure. Get back to our presentations here. So this is the fourth step in the creation of the economic development area for the Park and Poplar project. This is within the East Side EDA, Economic Development Area, and we're creating a TIF allocation area specifically for Park and Poplar. It's in the areas that are shown here in this orange. It encompasses all of the parcels that are going to be constructed upon as part of that project. This is, again, the fourth step in a four-step process. It was introduced at the RDC and then went to Plan Commission for approval and then to City Council for approval and is now back here for a confirmatory resolution. It will be an update to the economic development area and its plan. And I'm happy to answer any questions. I know you guys are fairly familiar with this project, but happy to go over any details you might be interested in.
Okay, before we open a public hearing, are there any questions from commission members? Okay, seeing none, we'll open up the public hearing at 6:37. Do we have anybody that's signed up, David, to speak?
None at this time.
Okay, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to this particular resolution? Okay, seeing none, we will close the public hearing at 6:37. We have the next action item, which is Resolution 31-2025 regarding confirmatory resolution for East Side EDA and Park and Poplar allocation area. Any questions from commission members on this particular resolution?
I just need to announce that I
Okay.
need to abstain if now's the appropriate time. So just because of potential for conflict on a few matters on the agenda under new business, matters in which I have no pecuniary interest, I need to abstain from voting on items C, E, F, G, L, and M under new business tonight.
Thank you,
Okay,
Larry.
thank you, Larry, I appreciate that. We will exclude you from item C. We have a motion for approval for Resolution 31-2025.
I'll move to approve.
Okay, Steve Latour, motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
John Dart, second. David, please take the roll.
Joe Plankis,
Aye.
John Dart,
Aye.
Brian Michael,
Aye.
Steve Latour.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 4-0 with Larry Kemper excusing himself for this particular item. Okay, next item on the agenda is a public hearing for the adoption of the declaratory resolution for Grand Junction EDA and Jersey Street allocation area. Janelle, if you'll give us some details on this one, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. So similarly, this is a economic development area called Grand Junction. You guys have seen this one before. You'll see it again. It's our largest economic development area in the city, and I feel like we modify it a few times a year. We're here today as the fourth step in the creation of the Jersey Street allocation area, which is all the areas shown here in orange on the map. And it is all the parcels that will be involved in the construction of the Jersey 32 project. I'll add also, there's a little strip right here that's not highlighted. That's a portion of property that is currently an alley. It's considered right-of-way, and it will be vacated. We're requesting at City Council that it be vacated next week. And once that's vacated, that alley will be absorbed into the two parcels that it abuts, so it will be brought into that allocation area at that same time. Again, this is the fourth step in the process. Came to you all for the approval of the declaratory resolution, then Plan Commission, City Council, and it's back here today.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll open up the public hearing at 6:40 PM. David, do we have anyone that's signed up to speak?
Not at this time.
Okay, is there anyone in the audience that is interested in speaking to this particular item? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing at 6:40 PM. Up for adoption is Resolution 32-2025, Conformatory Resolution, Grand Junction EDA and Jersey Street Allocation Area. Do I have a motion for approval?
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, Brian, Tom, and Michael, motion for approval. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by John Dart. David, please take the roll.
Joe Plankis.
Aye.
John Dart.
Aye.
Brian Michael.
Aye.
Steve Latour.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 4-0. You're excusing yourself on this one also, Larry, right? Larry Kemper is excused. Motion passes 4-0. Thank you very much. Next one is action item number 3, Resolution 33-2025, Jersey 32 Project Agreement Authorization and Grant to DWCDC. Janelle?
Thank you, Mr. President. So this resolution includes a request for authorization to execute a project agreement with the developers for the Jersey 32 project at Jersey Street, which includes grants of land, and will also be granting some additional dollars in addition to bond proceeds to upsize their parking garage at Jersey Street. We're doing the same thing at the Park and Poplar project to help handle some of the shortages of parking that we have in the downtown area. The TIF for the project isn't sufficient to cover the garage entirely, so we'll be requesting cash grants and then granting that money to help with that construction cost. Happy to go over any questions that you have about the resolution or the grants.
Okay, any questions for Janelle from commission members? Okay, seeing none, I'm open for a motion for approval of Resolution 33-2025.
I'll move to approve.
Okay, Steve
Second.
Latour and John Dart, thank you very much. David, please take the roll.
Joe Plankis.
Aye.
John Dart.
Aye.
Brian Michael.
Aye.
Steve Latour.
Aye.
Okay, Larry, are you eligible in this one? No. No, okay, thank you. Motion passes 4-0. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is Resolution 34-2025, Jersey 32 TIF Pledge. Janelle?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Same project. This is the Jersey 32 project, and this is a resolution that would authorize the contribution of 100% of the tax increment revenue from the allocation area that you just voted to approve toward the parking garage bond for the Jersey 32 project. It will be a developer-backed bond, so there will be no risk to the city, and they will need all of the TIF in order to be able to build the parking garage in addition to some additional cash, as I mentioned previously.
Okay, do we have any questions from commission members for Janelle? Okay, seeing none, I'm open for a motion for approval.
Make a motion to approve.
Brian, Tom, and Michael, motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
John Dart, second. David, please take the roll.
Joe Plankis.
Aye.
John Dart.
Aye.
Brian Michael.
Aye.
Steve Latour.
Aye.
Okay, Larry, you're eligible in this one? No. Okay, just double check. Thank you very much. Motion passes 4-0. Next, we have a public hearing on the lease agreement for the road projects bonds. Janelle, if you would give us an update on this, please.
Yes, I'd be happy to. John, are you on the call for this one? John Nail?
Yes, I am. Yes, I
Okay.
am.
Would you like to go through the list of road projects that this bond is associated with?
Sure. So it's Exhibit A of the document before you, and there are 7 roadway projects that this bond proceeds will fund. Those projects are 161st and Spring Mill Roundabout, a roundabout there at 161st and Spring Mill intersection. The Monon Trail under 161st Street, that's the Monon grade separate the Monon Trail from 161st Street. It also includes 191st Street Road widening from Tomlinson to Grand Park Boulevard. That will be a 4-lane boulevard section inclusive of a roundabout at 191st and Grand Park Boulevard. Associated with that project is the Monon Trail Bridge over 191st Street. So in that same area, the Monon Trail crosses 191st Street, currently at grade We are in design and will be constructing a pedestrian bridge as part of that construction work. And then Chad Hiddle Extension, which is a roadway extension running from just south of 191st and Chad Hiddle Drive down to 186th and Tomlinson Road. And then lastly, Jersey Street Extension construction, as well as a town road realignment project, which is out on the west side of Westfield, which would extend existing town road north from where it currently terminates at Little Eagle Creek Avenue, crossing Little Eagle Creek and tying into State Road 32, right there where the school currently has their West Campus Transportation Center and middle school planned at that location. So those are the 7 projects. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have about these projects this time.
Okay, we have any questions for Mr. Neal from commission members?
I just have, John, did you say 161st and Spring Mill roundabout, the one that's already in construction? So is that, what's that?
That's correct.
So is that
Yeah,
going to
so
be
it
a
is
reimbursement?
That's correct. Yeah, it is under construction. We're currently cash flowing that with road impact fees. And the contractor bills are being paid by road impact fees currently, and we anticipate a reimbursement once the bond proceeds are available.
Okay, thank you.
That project is looking good. I can't wait for it to open up, John.
I can't wait for it to open up also.
Okay, if there are no further questions, we'll open up the public hearing at 6:47. David, do we have anyone who wants to speak? Okay, is there anybody in the audience that wants to add to the discussion? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing at 6:47 for the road projects bonds. Open for a vote on the resolution
Joe?
35-
Before you move on to the vote, do you have any questions for Zach Klutz? Just that, we talked about the
okay.
projects
I'm
themselves,
sorry.
we haven't talked about the,
The bonding,
The
yes.
bond.
Go right ahead. I
Thank you.
apologize for that.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioner. Zach Klutz with the Taft Law Firm. Lots of exciting projects tonight. I get to come up and talk about roads and streets, so sorry.
That's important, too.
That's true, that's true. Before you is Resolution 35-2025, and I think many of you were in the audience for the RDA meeting immediately prior to this. The RDA is planning to issue its lease rental bonds in an amount not to exceed $40 million to fund the road projects you just heard. We're going to utilize the lease for the financing, and the RDC would be the lessee under this, and then not utilize TIF, but levy a special benefit tax to pay the lease rentals during the life of the bond. One change that you may have noticed in the resolution and lease that were in your original packets, the maximum annual lease amount was set at $5.5 million. The city's financial and municipal advisors determined that the city could likely pay this financing off sooner by increasing that amount to an amount not to exceed $7.5 million. So think of it as the loan amount has not changed, but the city has determined they want to pay it off faster. So I think you'll see a higher amount, but that's actually a positive from my perspective. So we have a maximum annual lease amount in the lease now of $7.5 million, with a term not to exceed 20 years, but we'll be far under that once we price the bonds. In terms of timing, you may have heard we're anticipating pricing and sizing the bonds in early October with a closing at the end of October. We still have to go before the council one more time for their final approval of the lease agreement as well as the levy of the special benefit tax. But this is the last time we'll be in front of you with a formal resolution, and the RDA just completed their task this evening, so we're well on our way. But happy to answer any questions regarding the resolution before you.
Okay, any questions?
I actually have a question. John, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
So there are obviously other road projects and infrastructure projects going on within the city. Help me understand the difference between why are these being funded through bonds versus other projects? Can you just break that down for me?
Yeah, we've sat down with Bondry and our financial folks as well and looked at the full road. We call it the financing roadmap for road projects, no pun intended. But we've looked at how we can best fund our capital improvement plan that Mayor published last year. And I think these projects before you fall into the right timeline for this particular bond with respect to when we anticipate going to construction and when proceeds would be available. We certainly don't want to take out a bond early for a project that we're not going to build for many more years. So these are sort of the most important projects that we look to construct here in the very near future, as well as several of these are on the larger side as far as our construction costs go as well. So it fit into a good financing strategy. As far as the details on that strategy, I'm sure Oscar or someone with Bondry would be able to answer some of those details better than myself. But short answer is the construction timelines, from my perspective, fit very well into this strategy.
Okay, we have Oscar here, so Oscar, please.
And Commissioner / Councilmember Dart, this is all consistent with the capital plan that was presented to the council last year. The way that we determine which ones to do, as John said, is we try to pay cash for anything that we can't pay cash for now, and then try to reimburse it later, so that we are not borrowing $20 million in a road that may not be shovel-ready for another 8 months. So we try to tie everything in timing of what can be paid for cash for as long as possible until it is really time to start paying for the hard construction. So all the things that are on this list were on that priority list, but it is more timing and cash. In regards to the amount that got increased that Mr. Klutz mentioned, we are trying to do this all without raising the property tax rate. While SB 1 will change the way that we look at the universe in a couple of years of tax rates versus levy, we see 2026 as still being business as usual. Not a whole lot of changes happen to our assessed value. As a matter of fact, the assessed value for the city of Westfield came in about 4% higher than we had predicted. And that's why we feel that we are going to do two things in order to pay for this and not raise taxes. One is we're going to seek a levy appeal from the DLGF so that we receive additional income taxes as a result of that. That's operating money, and it's just more money coming to us. That formula goes away in 2 years by the state as well. So this is a temporary, let's get as much money as we can for the next 2 years. We know the rules are going to change, but no reason to leave that money for other municipalities when Westfield can use them. Because the value came up higher, we are, instead of putting more not useless, let me reframe what I'm trying to say. Rather than adding more roads to this list and keeping payments the same, we understand that these are the road projects that need funding today. So rather than borrowing those additional dollars that Mr. Klutz brought up to add more stuff to the list, we're sticking to the plan, which is let's only pay for what is ground ready today, and then save that capacity for next year or the year after when those are ready to go next time. So it is just timing and when it's the best time to not just sit on cash.
Thank you.
Thank you, Oscar.
Oscar, while you're up. So Section 3 authorizes the issuance of bans as well. So I was just curious, like, what are we looking at for, like, multiple bonds, one bond, bans, and then bond? I guess what's the
It's
plan?
one bond. I believe that that's just boilerplate to allow the option for that, but these will be actual bonds sold and paid for as quickly as possible so that the capacity for the city gets reallocated for other projects in the future.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Oscar. Any other questions? If not, I'm open for a motion for approval of Resolution 35-2025 regarding road projects bonds, approving lease agreement, forms of docs, and authorize execution of lease. I have a motion for approval.
I'll motion to approve.
Okay, Brian Tom Michael, motion to
That
approve.
was Steve.
It was Steve.
It was
Oh,
me,
Steve,
Joe.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I'll second
Steve
for you.
Latour.
Our voices.
Brian Tom Michael, second. David, please take the roll.
Joe Plankis,
Aye.
John Dart,
Aye.
Brian Michael,
Aye.
And Larry Kemper.
Larry Kemper,
Aye.
Steve Latour.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 5-0. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is a public hearing on the lease agreements for Grant Park District Land Acquisition Ban, approving form and authorize execution of lease. Janelle?
Thank you, Mr. President. So this is another financing opportunity to purchase the land. And John, I hope that as we go through this, this explanation, it explains to you the answers to your questions previously. So the land here on the south side of 186th Street within the Grand Park master plan is currently owned by D&W Farms here on the west side of Grand Park Boulevard, and a combination of D&W Farms and Henke Property Group on the east side of Grand Park Boulevard. And as you know, Henke's were at the table with us throughout the process of the master planning, and were very cooperative in helping us envision what is going to happen here. And we are currently in the process of, as we'll see here in a moment, requesting financing so that the city can purchase, well, the downtown Westfield CDC, more specifically, would be able to purchase the land here south of 186th Street, giving the city and the Redevelopment Commission the authority to really dictate what is happening and have more control over the public-private partnerships here at the southern portion of the Grand Park District. You had asked specifically about CARD and their involvement, and we are currently working through the details of a development plan with them. We will have a carve-out for the ICE facility itself that, just like in the northern part of the Grand Park Development District, where we have the stadium, is envisioned to be a project that is a Redevelopment Commission project, and it will, that land will stay controlled by the Redevelopment Commission or the city, very much the same way as any of the right-of-way or public spaces that you would walk on, right? So your roads, your sidewalks, where you have the water retention, any of your ponds, anything that's happening here that's public infrastructure would remain within the city. So I hope that that answers briefly your question, but I would love it if before Brad comes up to explain the ban itself, if Oscar, you could explain, same as you did at the RDA meeting, what the structure is of the ban to bond, because I think that's really illustrative of what we're doing here.
Yes, thank you, Janelle. And for those that heard this earlier, I apologize, and I'll take the opportunity to apologize for my outfit again. After the Live weekend, I got used to shorts and polos and felt comfortable doing this and didn't expect to speak today. The bond anticipation note is a 5-year note. What you'll be approving today is the actual bonds for 5 years from now. When we were trying to figure out how you could take down the land, maintain control for the city without allowing the developer to have full access to that key part of the city, we came up with a temporary financing mechanism, which would be a 5-year temporary financing that ideally we don't have to permanently finance for, but fully capable of doing so. So for 3 years, one of the challenges was making payments on land that may or may not be development ready. So we capitalized 3 years of interest, where there's pretty much no payments for the first 3 years of this financing. That allows, that, I wouldn't say it takes pressure off the developer, and it, you know, could be CARD, could be somebody else. There is no agreement in place, but the city gets to decide who that is and what the terms are for that negotiation. But they have 3 years without the pressure of making payments to make the right decisions to bring the development to the area. The next 2 years is interest only. And the goal is that the developer will sell those parcels of land, think of it as a glorified real estate agent, but really a developer, that covers not only the original cost of purchasing the land, but also the carrying cost of those that interest costs for those future 5 years. So that is the thought behind this, of a way for the city to maintain control of the land, select a developer that they can fire, hire, or, you know, ultimately have control over that as well. And the city has the ability to then take down the land in 5 years. Let's say that there's no interest when we come and buy it. The city can then pay issued bonds and then potentially start selling the parcels to, as, you know, as a real estate agent, or we can figure it out from there. But it gives us a 5-year runway to truly focus on I should have been speaking into the mic the whole time. It allows for the vision to come to fruition in that 5-year window without putting a gun to somebody's head and having the pressure of payments.
Thank you for your explanation, Oscar. Any other questions for Oscar or Janelle?
Make sure that Brad Bingham has an opportunity to talk about the bond itself.
Good evening, Brad Bingham,
Thank you,
Barnes and
Brad.
Thornburg. Sorry I was late to the first meeting, first of all. The traffic was terrible on the way up here. Yeah, exactly. So a couple things here. So Resolution 36, 2025, it's very similar to what you just approved, the previous project, in terms of the legal structure. So it's going to be an authority financing with a lease between the Redevelopment Authority and the Commission. A couple of key differences here. One is that the lease rentals will be secured not from TIF or special benefits tax, but from the bonds themselves when they're actually issued. I'm sorry, from be paid from general revenues of the city. That's like the repayment source. So that's a little bit of a twist. That's kind of an SEA 1 side effect for various reasons. This resolution authorizes both the issuance of bonds and bans, except that, unlike earlier, we do actually anticipate issuing a ban for this scenario for the reasons Oscar just explained. The one thing, though, I do think is important to note is that when we close on the ban, you will own the property. So it's not as if you have the right to acquire it. You will acquire it. You will own this 48 acres and control your own destiny going forward. But I agree with Oscar in terms of the overall plan is to have development happen so that you can actually have TIF being produced from these projects. The resolution, again, just a couple key points. The maximum annual lease payment amount for the permanent financing, if that were to go forward, would be $5 million per year. Maximum term would be 25 years. The maximum par amount for the bonds or bans is just a little over $33 million. That's roughly the amount that we need to acquire the property plus cost of issuance. And again, as Oscar mentioned, the ban would have a max term of 5 years, interest only for 3 years. Timing-wise, we're here tonight, council on Monday. At that point, the second reading, I think, would be September 8th, and our hope is to be in a position to close by the middle of October, which is close, but we think we can get it done under that scenario. Happy to entertain any questions.
Okay, thank you, Brad. I appreciate that. Any questions for him from the commission members? Okay, seeing none, then we will open up the public hearing at 7:03. David, do we have anyone who has indicated they want to speak?
Not at this time.
Okay, is there anyone in the audience that would like to contribute? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing at 7:03. Okay, so now we've got Resolution 36-2025, Grant Park District Land Acquisition Ban, approving form and authorized execution of lease. I have a motion for approval.
Sorry, I have a question for Ryan.
Oh.
I represent the Hankies on other matters, not this matter. Do I need to abstain again?
I would say not. Of course, if you want it in an abundance of caution, of course, you'd be free to do so.
I'm happy to abstain, just out of caution.
Okay.
That's fine.
If you feel more comfortable with that, Larry, that's fine. Thank you. Okay, so again, we have a motion up for approval, or not a motion yet. I'm looking for a motion for approval.
I'll move to approve.
Okay, Steve Latour, motion to approve.
A second.
John Dart for a second. David, please take the roll.
Joe Plankus,
Aye.
John Dart,
Aye.
Brian Michael,
Aye.
Steve Latour.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes 4-0 with Larry Kemper abstaining. Next item on the agenda is Resolution 37-2025 Woodwind Project Grant Authorization. Janelle?
Thank you, Mr. President. So this resolution is in regard to some grants associated with the Woodwind Golf Course improvements at the Woodwind project. So as we reviewed earlier in my director's report, The Woodwind project that Old Town is building includes the construction of 3 new holes on the north side of 161st Street and the future reconstruction of 3 existing holes on the south side of 161st Street. And when we had originally anticipated this project being financed through a bond, it would have been, you would have your TIF bond, you would have the bond proceeds pay for the work. And as we started to look through our financing strategies, we decided to take a bit of a turn. And instead of issuing a bond, we would be moving forward using some cash that we have available within the Redevelopment Capital Fund and within the 146th Street TIF area. And then we would be requesting reimbursement to those sources after the Woodwind areas have been more established and have generated more tax increment. So, and as a reminder, the allocation areas within Woodwind are all residential. There's a lot less control over the speed at which projects are delivered because we don't have a development agreement with every homeowner that is building within those residential areas. So this just gives us a lot more flexibility to be able to issue a bond at the time that we know that we have a repayment source that is available. So I'm not sure if, is there anything else, Ryan, that I need to cover on this item? Okay. So this would be a grant to the CDC, Downtown Westfield CDC, to contribute towards the construction and reconstruction of the Woodwind golf holes.
Okay, any questions for Janelle? Okay, if not, I'm open for a motion for approval of Resolution 37-2025.
Motion to approve Resolution 37-2025.
John Dart, motion for approval. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Brian Tamamichael. Thank you. David, please take the roll.
Joe Plankis.
Aye.
John Dart.
Aye.
Brian Tamamichael.
Aye.
Steve Latour.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Larry Kemper is abstained. Next item on the agenda is Resolution 38-2025, Woodwind Project, Woodwind East / Phase 1 reimbursement. Janelle?
Thank you, Mr. President. This goes hand in hand with the resolution that was just authorized associated with the grants for the Woodwind development. And this is just that formal action to declare that we would be reimbursing project expenses through the TIF area. And I know Brad Bingham's here. He can answer any questions about why we have to have this type of resolution. I understand at like high level why we need a resolution agreement, but I'll let him get into the legal details.
Yeah, so this, really what this does is it preserves your ability in the future if you want to issue bonds and reimburse your capital outlay with the bond proceeds. Just like what was mentioned earlier on another project, this preserves your ability to do that. Federal tax regs say you have to actually adopt an official declaration of intent to do that within 60 days after you start spending monies on actual construction of a project. So it's just to preserve options down the road in case you want to do a reimbursement.
Okay, thank you, Brad. Appreciate it. Okay, any other questions? If not, open for motion for approval of Resolution 38-2025.
Make a motion to approve.
Brian Tamamichael, motion to approve.
Second.
John Dart, second. David?
Joe Plankis.
Aye.
John Dart.
Aye.
Brian Tamamichael.
Aye.
Steve Latour.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Larry Kemper has abstained. That concludes our business, I believe. Is there anything else that we need to add to this very exciting agenda, Janelle?
Nothing else to add.
Okay, we're open for a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Second. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much. And we got a lot of paperwork for David, so don't go anywhere.
Sorry again, everyone, about my